I feel like pissing people off today, so what better than to complain about MLS names and logos again? Play the intro. About a year ago, I made a video where I talked about MLS team names and why they were terrible. And people had some things to say. That was a year ago, and I've learned some things. Apparently, I got some things wrong. I'm aware I pronounced Milan wrong. That's what happens when I have the soccer knowledge of a donut. Also, these aren't logos. In soccer, they're called badges. It explains why most, if not all, logos have a shield-like shape. Either way, they're terrible. All words, no action. Like politicians. Politicians. And the names. Oh my goodness, the names. Now, I'm not saying European soccer teams should change their names as well. If I did, I might be banned from Europe for bruising their egos. However, every MLS team needs to remove FC, SC, CF, football club, or soccer club from their name. With San Diego being lazy and just using FC as their name, more than a third of the league uses FC, SC, or CF as their name. That's not healthy. I don't care that MLS teams are referred to by their location name. That gets confusing when two cities have two teams even though one of each doesn't play in the city they claim to represent. I will say this, I like Montreal's logo, but that's because I'm a sucker for things with a fleur-de-lis and I like the color scheme. However, they should still bring back the name Impact. The 18 lines in San Diego's logo representing the 18 communities in San Diego is a nice nod. The Chicago Star on the Fire logo is alright. Minnesota's logo isn't complicated and gets straight to the point. The Timbers, you could say, hides a T with the axe. And you know I love the arch on St. Louis City's logo. But besides them, no other logo wows me. They mostly resemble a lifeless corporate symbol instead of a striking badge. If you look at the shape, 8 teams, 9 if you count Portland, have a circle as their logo. Look at what happens when you turn all logos into silhouettes. Compare that to the NHL, where most teams have unique shapes. Sure, there are hockey teams with circles as their logos, but if you look inside the circle, there are unique designs mostly not bogged down by a word mark. I said most. On another note, look at the original MLS team's logos back then and their logos now. Notice the difference? The current logos all blend into each other, while the old logos stand out from one another. Now that you think about it, let's go back to the past and look at every MLS team, unlike in the previous video where I highlighted certain teams. We remember the original 10 MLS teams in 1996 were the Colorado Rapids, the Columbus Crew, the Dallas Burn, DC United, the Kansas City Wiz, the Los Angeles Galaxy, the New England Revolution, the New York/New Jersey Metro Stars, the San Jose Clash, and the Tampa Bay Mutiny. Looking at those names, you will think, wow, those are certainly 90s. When it came to naming these teams, it was the kit producers, Nike, Adidas, and Reebok, who came up with the names. Also, notice how most of the names didn't end in S. I did say that Dallas's future name change, which we'll get to, was the first symptom of the European name invasion into MLS. I was wrong. If we're being technical, it was DC United who were patient zero. Now you could say it's a reference to the capital of the United States. I get that, but it set a precedent that plagues MLS today. A year later, due to trademark issues and probably all kinds of bathroom jokes, Kansas City changed their name to the Wizards. By the way, did I mention KC actually played in Missouri at the time? Now I did. In 1998, MLS had its first expansion with the Chicago Fire and Miami Fusion FC. Miami became the first team to staple FC to their name, although it wasn't as prominent as it is today. 2 years later, the struggling San Jose Clash squashed the Scorpion and looked to the past with a name more familiar to the region, the Earthquakes, after the old North American Soccer League team from the 70s and 80s. In 2002, financial pain kills both MLS teams in Florida as the Mutiny and Fusion both fold. In 2005, MLS got back on its feet with expansion teams in LA and Utah, as Chivas USA and Real Salt Lake joined MLS. Not only do we get a Mormon ripoff of Real Madrid, we also get America's answer to, Club Deportivo Guadalajara, aka Chivas, which is Spanish for multiple things. Chivas USA was meant to represent the Hispanic and Latino community of LA, so that's understandable. What's RSL's excuse? Also that year, the Burn were extinguished. With Dallas moving into a new stadium, the club chose to rename the team to FC Dallas, becoming the first MLS team to not only have FC as their name, but also put club before location. I'm surprised any of the 12 Burn fans at the time didn't riot because it was a European name in Texas. I guess using Texas colors in a bold can get Texans convinced. In 2006, Major League Soccer had its first, and as of this video, only relocation. Except it kinda isn't a relocation. It's similar to the creation of the Baltimore Ravens and Utah Hockey Club. Due to being unable to get a soccer-specific stadium, the Earthquakes were, quote, put on hiatus, and players and coaches were relocated to Houston, forming the Dynamo. Also in 2006, Red Bull, yes, the overrated energy drink company, bought the Metro Stars and renamed them to the Red Bulls. I know, very creative. In 2007, MLS came across the border with Toronto FC. It's not like it's a Canadian thing to have teams with FC names. How does that explain past and present NHL, MLB, and NBA teams in the country? Since we're in 2007, I should mention that Real Salt Lake almost moved to St. Louis due to stadium problems. We might have almost gotten Real St. Louis. Once again, that name would have been stupid. In 2008, the Earthquakes were reactivated with the same name, logos, and colors, but a fresh new team and a brand new stadium. In 2009, another holdover from the NASL came to Major League Soccer, as the Seattle Sounders were granted an expansion team. And for some reason they stapled FC to the name. In 2010, in order to form a more perfect union, Philadelphia was granted a team. I will give Philly credit for not falling into the FC trap, but that doesn't excuse their lackluster name, Union. Was Philadelphia Snakes taken? In 2011, two more holdovers from the NASL joined the Sounders in the Pacific Northwest, the Portland Timbers and the Vancouver Whitecaps. Oh, sorry, Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Also that year, with the move to Kansas, the Wizards cast a disappointment spell with the rename to Sporting Kansas. A year later, after that, La Belle Province made the jump to Major League Soccer with the Montreal Impact. The Impact had previously been in the APSL and the USL, along with the Whitecaps. Don't think all this growth was all positive with no setbacks. In 2015, Chivas USA had no choice but to fold due to lackluster play and dreadful attendance. In 2015, Columbus dumped the construction workers badge in favor of the circle with the checkered stripe combo. Along with them, Orlando and New York City were both granted teams, because people don't want to root for a New York team that plays in Jersey. NYC was lazy and tapped into the FC game with NYCFC. But Orlando was bold. They have a name that will revolutionize Major League Soccer. Orlando City SC. In 2017, Atlanta and Minnesota joined the scene. I don't know if both teams collaborated with this or one team copied another, but both teams decided to name themselves Atlanta United FC and Minnesota United FC, respectively, because being just United or FC wasn't European enough. We need both. In 2018, because Chivas USA wasn't a disaster, LA was granted another team. This team will actually play in Los Angeles unlike the other one, and their name is LAFC. I'll give LAFC credit, they've been successful in their short existence, but I won't give them credit for choosing LAFC instead of Falcons as their name. 2019 brought Cincinnati into the picture, and because they want to be unique, they put FC before Cincinnati. Also in 2019, Chicago made quite possibly one of the worst rebrands in sports history by shoehorning FC to the name and rebranding to this. It would be gone in 2 years, don't you worry. Except the FC, that's staying put for some reason. In 2020, Miami made their triumphant return, along with Nashville joining the fray. There are all kinds of names Nashville could use, but they were bold. They went with Nashville SC. Exhilarating, I know. On the other hand, Miami knows the score. With their name, they chose Inter Miami CF, or Club Internacional de Football Miami. Now, just like Chivas, it's a name that connects with the Hispanic and Latino communities of South Florida, and it's a way to lure a certain soccer legend to get butts in seats. Also in 2020, Columbus made a controversial name change. After dropping Crew from the name, fans revolted, and it was the only time an MLS team listened to the fans. Both the club and fans compromised as Crew remained with SC being stapled to the name. And while this didn't draw as much attention, the Dynamo also decided to staple FC to their name. Due to being unable to move the Crew to Austin, Anthony Precourt was able to get an expansion team in 2021 called Austin FC. For the only professional team in the city of Austin, you'd think they would choose a name that makes them stand out, but no, ATX has to chase trends. This is not alright. Along with them, Montreal had the bright, and by bright I mean boneheaded, idea of renaming the club to CF Montreal, or Club de Foot Montreal. Because, quote, in order to make an impact, we need to retire the impact. And they made quite the impact, with one of the worst rebrands in sports. It would also be gone in 2 years as well. In 2022, David Tepper brought his circus to the pitch in the form of an expansion team to Charlotte. There were so many names they could have gone with. Charlotte Crown, Charlotte Fortune, Charlotte Monarchs, Charlotte Athletic, Charlotte Town, Carolina Gliders, or All Carolina, all with FC attached. But those are too exciting. David Tepper looks at a map with all the MLS teams and notices how FC is used by a lot of teams and says to himself, you know what? We need that. That probably isn't what actually happened, but considering Tepper's character, I wouldn't be shocked. What, you want me to pat you on the back for slapping Minted on the badge? Not impressed. Now on to my team, St. Louis. While they weren't slated to start until 2023, St. Louis revealed their name in 2020. And as a way to represent civic pride, because we haven't seen that in Major League Soccer before, St. Louis named their club St. Louis City SC. But if you think Orlando was bold with that, St. Louis will do one better. They spelled it with all caps. So when are we getting St. Louis County SC? When this name was revealed, I didn't really ponder it at the time. Dumb teenage me, in lockdown, thought, oh, there's St. Louis City SC, and moved on. Almost half a decade later, I hate it. Change the name to the Hellcats. And don't go in the comments saying Hellcats is satanic. There's a hockey team in New Jersey called the Devils, and if Christians protested outside of Prudential Center calling to change the name, I'm getting off topic. Moving on. Finally, the newest MLS team, San Diego. With the presence of an MLS team, the USL San Diego Loyal have shut down. Maybe they could continue their legacy with that name, but Mohamed Mansour and company disagree. Kicking off in 2025 with its gradient outline and whatever this shape is supposed to be, San Diego FC.
Boo! You suck!
If that speed run of an expansion is too complicated, let's look at some graphs. Here's a graph of every MLS name. And here's every team that has FC, SC, or CF attached to their name. That's a problem. Don't tell me names like Real and Sporting are unique. They're glorified ripoffs. Once again, I consider MLS to be a major pro sports league in North America. But its team names, logos, and branding have it trapped as a wannabe European soccer minor league / retirement home. Major League Soccer is growing, and another way to increase growth is with better brands. In today's world of sports fashion, logos are everything. And identity is central to a team's representation when not talking about performance. Look at the Toronto Raptors. They might not be good this year, but they brought back the purple jersey and have a special City Edition jersey. If anyone from Major League Soccer is watching this, I have one firm suggestion to most, if not every team in the league. Evolve the branding! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'll see you in the next video.